A lot of women wonder, how do I really know if a man loves me? Because men don't always come out and say it. They don't always put it into words. But here's the truth. When a man is in love, his actions, his energy, and even his silence will tell you everything you need to know. You just have to know what to look for. And today, I'm going to break it down for you in a way that makes it crystal clear. When a man falls in love, one of the very first things that begins to change is the way he prioritizes. And I don't mean in the dramatic Hollywood way where he suddenly drops everything and dedicates his life to you. No, it's more subtle than that, but it's also more powerful. A man in love starts making decisions with you in mind, often without even realizing it. You go from being part of his world to being the center of it, and that shift is something you can feel. His priorities begin to lean toward you not because he has to, but because he wants to. Think about it. Before you, he may have filled his time with friends, hobbies, work, or just drifting through routines. But once love takes hold, he starts to weigh those choices differently. If he has free time, he wants to spend it with you. If he's planning his week, he wants to make sure you fit into it. Even if he's tired, even if it's inconvenient, even if he's busy, he finds ways to give you his time. Because to him, your presence is no longer something optional, it's something essential. And it's not just about the big gestures. It shows up in the small, everyday decisions. He'll choose to call you on his lunch break instead of scrolling through his phone. He'll pick you up a coffee because he thought about you when he drove past your favorite shop. He'll rearrange his day so he can show up to something that matters to you. That's what love does. It rearranges a man's priorities so that your happiness, your comfort, your peace becomes something he values just as much as his own. You'll notice that when a man is truly in love, you start to see his time differently, because time is the one resource none of us can get back, and where he spends it tells you where his heart is. If he's consistently making time for you, even when it's not easy, even when it costs him sleep or convenience, that's love speaking louder than any words ever could. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean he stops caring about his own life, his own goals, or his own people. In fact, a man in love becomes better at those things because he feels inspired by you. Love doesn't take him away from his responsibilities, it simply realigns them. Suddenly, instead of only chasing his dreams, he starts asking himself how those dreams could include you. Instead of just planning for himself, he's thinking about we. That's why love is so transformative. It doesn't just change his schedule, it changes his vision. But here's something important. This shift isn't about control, it's about choice. A man in love doesn't prioritize you because you force him to, or because he feels obligated. He does it because he genuinely wants you to be woven into the fabric of his life. He wants to make space for you. He wants to make sure you feel secure, valued, and cherished. That's why his choices begin to reflect a deeper commitment. Because in his heart, you're not just part of the moment, you're part of the future. So when you're wondering whether a man truly loves you, watch his priorities. Watch how he spends his time, how he makes his choices, how he adjusts his plans. Words can be sweet, gifts can be nice, but the way he consistently places you at the forefront of his decisions, that's where the truth is. Because when a man is in love, he won't just tell you. He'll show you, over and over, that you're no longer just an option. You've become his priority. One of the clearest signs that a man is in love is when he starts showing you his vulnerability. And this is no small thing, because for most men, vulnerability doesn't come naturally. From a young age, men are often taught to be tough, to be in control, to keep their emotions tucked away where no one can see them. They're told that showing fear, sadness, or uncertainty somehow makes them weak. So they build walls, they hide the softer parts of themselves, and they present this image of strength to the world. But love has a way of breaking down those walls. Love makes a man want to be seen, not just for what he does, not just for how strong he looks, but for who he really is underneath it all. When a man falls in love, He begins to open the door to parts of himself that very few people ever get to see. He might tell you about struggles he's never spoken of before. He might admit fears he usually keeps to himself. He might share dreams that he's held so close because he was afraid no one else would understand them. This is not just conversation, this is trust. It's him saying, I feel safe enough with you to show you the side of me that I usually protect from the world. And here's what makes this so powerful: vulnerability is not easy. It's risky, because when a man lets his guard down, he's giving you access to his heart. He's putting faith in the idea that you won't use his openness against him, that you won't laugh at his fears, that you won't dismiss his feelings. That's why when he chooses to be vulnerable with you, it's one of the deepest ways he can show love. He's essentially saying, I trust you with the parts of me I don't show anyone else. You'll notice it in those quiet moments, when he admits that he doesn't have everything figured out, when he confesses that he worries about being good enough for you, when he shares memories that still hurt or insecurities that still weigh on him. And the more he loves you, the more comfortable he becomes in peeling back those layers. He doesn't just want to impress you anymore. He wants to connect with you on the most honest, human level possible. This vulnerability also shows up in the way he leans on you. A man in love doesn't just want to be your protector, he also wants you to be his safe place. He wants to know that when life gets heavy, he can sit with you, open up, and not be judged. That's love, when his need to look perfect fades away and his desire to be real with you takes its place. And the beautiful part is, this kind of openness deepens the bond between you. Because love isn't just about celebrating the good, it's about sharing the struggles too. When a man is vulnerable, he's not only showing love, he's creating intimacy. He's building a bridge of trust that makes the relationship stronger, because now it's not built on appearances, it's built on truth. So when you see a man open up his world, when you hear him talk about things he doesn't talk about with anyone else, when he lets you into his fears and his dreams, don't take it lightly. That's not weakness. That's love speaking louder than strength ever could. Because when a man is in love, he doesn't just show you the best of him, he shows you the real him. When a man is in love, one of the strongest instincts that rises up in him is the need to protect. And I don't just mean in the obvious way of making sure you're safe when you're walking at night or stepping in if someone disrespects you. Yes, he'll do those things, but real love goes deeper than physical protection. A man who loves you will feel a responsibility for your peace, your well-being, and your emotional safety. He wants to be the person you can rely on, the one you don't have to second guess, the one who makes life feel lighter instead of heavier. You'll notice it in how he handles your feelings. If something hurts you, it matters to him, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. If something makes you uncomfortable, he pays attention to that, because his goal isn't just to avoid causing you pain, it's to be the one who helps guard you from it. Love makes a man aware in a different way. He becomes more tuned in, more considerate, more intentional, because he doesn't just want to be present in your life, he wants to be a safe place in it. Protection also shows up in the way he speaks about you when you're not around. A man in love won't let people belittle you or speak against you. He'll defend your name the same way he defends his own, because in his heart, you're connected to him. Protecting you becomes second nature. It's not something he thinks about, it's something he feels. And this isn't about control or ownership. A man who loves you doesn't protect to restrict, he protects to reassure. He's not trying to confine you, he's trying to create a space where you can feel secure enough to flourish. He knows life is tough, that the world can be cruel, and what he wants most is for you to know you don't have to face it alone. His love pushes him to step in, to cover, to stand beside you in moments when you need someone strong enough to hold the line. But perhaps the most powerful form of protection is emotional. A man in love guards your heart. He's careful with his words because he knows how much they can wound. He pays attention to the promises he makes because he doesn't want to break your trust. He becomes mindful of how his actions affect you because your feelings are not something he takes lightly. He knows your heart is in his hands, and he wants to prove every day that he can be trusted with it. You'll also see his protective nature in how he handles your dreams. Instead of discouraging you or making you doubt yourself, he'll push you to go further. He won't let you settle for less than what you deserve, because loving you means wanting to see you thrive. And when obstacles show up in your path, he's not the kind of man who stands back and watches. He's the one who says, "We'll figure this out together." That's what love does to a man. It doesn't just make him want to hold you close, it makes him want to shield you from harm, whether that harm is physical, emotional, or even spiritual. His protective side is not about proving his strength, it's about proving his devotion. Because when a man is truly in love, he's not just thinking about how to keep you, he's thinking about how to keep you safe. When a man is in love, his effort tells the story more than anything else. Words are nice, and yes, hearing, "I love you," feels good, but it's what he does day in and day out that really shows where his heart is. Love pushes him into action. It moves him beyond just feelings into choices, and those choices begin to shape the way he treats you. You'll notice it not in the grand gestures that happen once in a while, but in the small, consistent things he does that make your life better, lighter, and more secure. Effort is love expressed without needing applause. When a man loves you, he doesn't just check in because he has to, he does it because you're on his mind. He remembers the details you casually mentioned, the way you like your coffee, the book you said you wanted to read, the kind of day you had at work, and he uses those details to show you that he listens. That's not obligation, that's intention. He wants you to feel seen, and his effort is his way of proving it. Love also shows up in sacrifice, and it's not always about giving up something huge. Sometimes it's choosing to drive across town just to see you for a few minutes, even though he's exhausted. Sometimes it's setting aside his own comfort so you can feel more comfortable. Sometimes it's making time when he has none, just to make sure you know you matter. Effort means he puts you into the equation of his life, not as an afterthought, but as someone worth bending for. And the thing about effort is that it builds trust. When you see a man consistently show up for you, even in the smallest of ways, you stop wondering if his love is real. You stop questioning his intentions. His actions answer the questions his words can't. Because anyone can say, "I care," but not everyone will prove it with consistency. A man in love won't just leave it at talk. He'll keep showing you through what he does. Even in moments of conflict, effort shows itself. A man who loves you doesn't just argue to win, he argues to understand, to find a solution, to protect the relationship. That's effort. Because walking away or shutting down would be easier, but love motivates him to lean in, to work through, to repair what's broken instead of giving up on it. That's how you know his effort isn't temporary, it's anchored in something deeper. And let's not forget that effort often hides in the unnoticed corners. You may not always see the mental adjustments he makes, the plans he rearranges, or the silent decisions he takes just to make sure you're okay. That's love, too, the invisible effort that doesn't ask for credit, but still shapes the way he shows up. His love teaches him to put in that work, not for recognition, but because you matter enough to him that he can't imagine not giving his best. So if you ever find yourself wondering whether a man truly loves you, don't just listen to what he says, watch what he does. Look at the consistency, the little sacrifices, the ways he invests in you when it's not convenient. That's where love speaks the loudest. Because when a man is in love, his effort doesn't fade with time, it grows stronger. And that's when you know his heart is truly in it. When a man is in love, his vision of the future begins to change. Before, he may have lived only in the moment, focused on his own plans, his own dreams, and his own responsibilities. But love has a way of shifting that perspective. Suddenly, The idea of tomorrow isn't just about him anymore. It's about you. He starts picturing not just where he's going, but who he wants standing beside him when he gets there. And that's one of the clearest ways you'll know he's truly in love, because his future no longer feels complete without you in it. You'll notice this shift in the little things he says. He'll talk about vacations he wants to take and use the word way instead of I. He'll plan around holidays, birthdays, or special events, and you're automatically part of the plan. Even when he's just daydreaming about what life could look like, you'll find that he includes you without hesitation. That's because in his mind, you're no longer temporary, you're permanent. This kind of future thinking isn't always about big, dramatic conversations. Sometimes it's subtle, almost casual, but it means everything. When he says things like, one day we should get a place like that, or imagine what it'll be like when he's letting you in on the fact that he doesn't see this love as short term. He's planning you into the long-term vision of his life. That's love in action, because men don't make those kinds of statements lightly. For him, including you in his future is a choice, and it's a choice he makes because his heart has already decided you belong there. And it's not just about words. His actions start lining up with that vision too. You'll see him making decisions that take your life and your dreams into account. He'll start weighing how his choices affect not just himself, but the relationship. If he's considering a new job, he'll think about what that means for both of you. If he's planning for where he wants to live, he'll imagine how it would work for you too. Love gives him a sense of responsibility that extends beyond himself. It's also in the way he starts thinking about stability. A man in love doesn't just want to enjoy the present with you. He wants to build something lasting. That doesn't mean he has all the answers or that everything will be perfect, but it does mean he's looking ahead and asking, how do I make sure she's part of this picture? That's why he begins to dream in terms of partnership, not just independence. And sometimes this vision of the future comes out in the way he treats your goals. He doesn't just want to achieve his own dreams. He wants to see yours come to life as well. A man in love doesn't see your ambitions as separate from his. He sees them as something to support, something to celebrate, something to build around. Because in his mind, your success is tied to his happiness, and the life he's imagining isn't complete unless it makes room for what matters to you. So when you see a man consistently include you in his long-term thinking, when his plans and his dreams start sounding like ours instead of just mine, that's love revealing itself in one of the most undeniable ways. Because when a man is truly in love, he doesn't just want you in his present. He can't picture his future without you. When a man is in love, something shifts inside of him. Your happiness starts to feel like his own. It's not that he loses his identity or forgets about his own joy, but he finds a deep sense of fulfillment in seeing you smile, in watching you succeed, in knowing you feel valued and cared for. Love does that. It creates a connection where your emotions matter to him as much as his, and your joy becomes one of the clearest reflections of his love. You'll notice it in the way he celebrates you. It's not just about birthdays, anniversaries, or big achievements. It's in the small, everyday victories too. If you had a good day at work, he feels proud. If you're excited about something you've been waiting for, he shares in that excitement like it happened to him. When you light up, it lights him up. That's because your happiness isn't just something he observes, it's something he actively participates in, and it's not only about the highs. When you're struggling, when life feels heavy, he feels that too. He can sense when your spirit is low, and it weighs on him because he doesn't just want to love you, he wants to lift you. That's why he goes out of his way to bring comfort, to reassure you, to remind you that you don't have to carry things alone. Even in those quiet moments when you think no one notices, he notices. He sees the shift in your tone, the change in your energy, the look in your eyes, and his heart pulls him to respond. That's love in motion, because it refuses to stay indifferent when you're hurting. It shows up in the sacrifices he makes without ever calling them sacrifices. Maybe it's driving across town to bring you something you need. Maybe it's rearranging his plans so he can be there when you need support. Maybe it's doing something small that takes extra effort just to see that look on your face when you realize he thought of you. To him, those aren't chores or burdens, they're opportunities. Because when a man is in love, he doesn't measure the cost of effort. He measures the joy it brings you. And here's the beauty of it: your happiness doesn't just matter to him, it inspires him. When he sees you thriving, when he sees you confident and at peace, it motivates him to be better, to do more, to keep showing up. Love turns your joy into fuel that drives him forward. He doesn't just want to be part of your life. He wants to contribute to the light in it. This is also why a man in love will sometimes go to lengths that others don't understand. People might wonder why he cares so much, why he invests so deeply, why he puts in that kind of energy. But the truth is, he's not doing it to prove a point to anyone else. He's doing it because your happiness is part of what makes his world feel right. It's not about control, it's not about duty, it's about love being expressed in the purest way it knows how, through joy that's shared. So when you see a man who lights up when you do, who feels your victories as his own and your struggles as his burden to help carry, who finds purpose in creating moments that make you smile, that's when you know it's more than affection, more than attraction. Because when a man is truly in love, your happiness becomes his happiness.